This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake it, body.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out your eyes.
Most people would do the same thing. Like, you know, she wanted to pursue a music career. Let her live. Like, she got to deal with that part of it if she's not writing her music. I don't know that. She was cool when she came by here, and that's all I can say about it.
Let's ask Russell Brand what he thinks. Why?
We gotta ask Russell.
Russell, what up, baby? What up, man? How you doing, man? How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Have a seat, man.
Hi, Russell.
Join the conversation. Remember Heather B, Russ?
Yes, I most certainly do. Yeah.
You remember Tracy over there?
Yeah, I do. I remember all of these attractive people. Yeah. For allowing me back in the coven.
Absolutely, man. We were just talking about why are so many people upset with Iggy Azalea and her success.
Right. Well, I'm not upset about because I've never heard her name before that moment there.
Okay.
Damn.
What is Iggy Azalea?
Okay, she's a rapper.
She's a rapper. She's nominated for 6 American Music Awards.
Right.
People feel like she had an even stronger year than Nicki Minaj.
Right. I've heard of Nicki Minaj.
She's from Australia. She's from Australia. She's white.
Why are people upset with her?
Well, I thought. Well, since you never heard of her,
Yeah, I'm not the best person to ask.
You know,
They feel like she's borrowing black culture.
Well, hasn't that always been the way with mainstream culture? That like whether it's the blues or rock and roll, the reappropriation of black culture into the mainstream, hip hop. It's that's always been the way. It becomes sanitized. It loses its original message without ever conceding any rights to non-white people. Take the best bits, keep the fruit, and abandon the people. I can see the attraction though, having now seen her from behind in a swimsuit. I'd like to change my view. She's a good woman. Let's get behind her and then stand behind her on our knees. Why are you? Don't be so bitter. Come on, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. She's trying her hardest.
She's trying, right?
She's trying, right?
We don't have to give up any original indigenous hip hop people. We've still got Public Enemy. We've still got Jay-Z, but none of them have got as nice a ass as the Australian one.
That's
yes. And she signed a TI, so her success is his success. He's a friend of ours.
There you go. See, so in a way, it sort of comes back. But like, I think what you're pointing to is a bigger problem. The bigger problem that you're talking about is the reappropriation of black culture into the mainstream without conceding any rights, without acknowledging
acknowledgement or anything, right?
Well, that's always been the way.
Yeah, right. Elvis did it.
Elvis did it really, really well.
He killed it.
He killed it with a great big. He rode that wave of black culture.
Pat Boone.
Pat Boone, did he do it?
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of people may not have noticed that I'm entirely styled on Eazy-E.
From NWA.
That's where I got it from NWA, yes.
NWA, I like that.
That's right. That's what where I styled myself on.
Okay.
It's easy.
I see you got the Asher Watch jeans on. Easy used to wear those. You got the Converse on. Easy wore those.
That's right.
Russell Brand is here. New book is called Revolution. You want to talk with him directly? 888-742-3345. Let's play some Eazy-E, man.
And Jesus I like because I think I look a bit like him.
That's Messiah Complex. Russell Brand, which I love listening to you speak.
Thanks. I like to listen to you speak.
Oh, thank you, man. I get
and sing. You did some singing earlier. I like that as well.
That's right, I did.
It's touching. It's moving. It's soothing.
It is,
it's very soothing. I feel soothed.
Malcolm X. Do you these people you brought up in your stand up? You know, Gandhi, Che, Malcolm, Jesus Christ. How does one go from forgetting Sarah Marshall to talking about these things?
Because, I really liked being in those films, and it was a lot of fun. But then I remembered that I'm a stand-up comedian from a pretty ordinary background, and I wanted to talk about things that were really important to me. And I thought, about figures that I found inspiring. And those, I thought, if I could go on stage and talk about anything at all, who would I talk about? And I thought, hold on a minute, I can go on stage and talk about anything at all. So the first 4 names that came to me was Che, Gandhi, Malcolm X, and Jesus. All fascinating men, obviously, in those instances, that were prepared to die for what they believed in. And that the stand-up came from the fact that, you know, like in the case of the first 3, they're all ordinary men that were prepared to make sacrifice, and also that they were all part of movements that included millions and millions of people, and that they were the figurehead, and that the things that they were all fighting for are things that we need to fight for today, for freedom. And I was thinking about what you were saying about that girl, the Australian girl that's getting nominated. Iggy Azalea, a name that I'll never remember. I've just got too much stuff to know without memorising Iggy Azalea. It's too many words in my mind already. The reason is, you think, what is the irritation? Because presumably, I'm guessing that the irritation comes from people who feel like ownership over hip-hop, who've been with hip-hop for a long time, going, how come another thing, white people coming in and nicking all the best bits and taking all the spoils? It's like, well, even if it doesn't particularly matter in this instance, this white girl with, let's say, a fascinating bottom is like reappropriating a piece of black culture. The idea that black culture has constantly been ransacked is a powerful narrative, a powerful story that began with slavery, with one of the great abominations of human history. So that injury hasn't been healed. The civil rights struggle is only 50 years ago, and still racism is a prevalent issue in this country and all over the world. So it sort of bursts out on tiny little, almost irrelevant, I would say, issues like this. But the story itself is an important one. The story itself is important.
Picture, right?
The bigger picture.
It's not about the bigger butt.
Not about the bigger butt. Is distracting. It's hard to focus if someone puts that big butt in your face. It's hard. Suddenly racism seems irrelevant to me. But it continues to exist, and it's something I guess that we have to be focused on if we want it to change.
We got to talk about it. These people were willing to die for what they believed in. Some of these folks you named, Malcolm, Che, Gandhi. Is there anything you would be willing to die for? Because when you in this book Revolution, you talked about the economically disenfranchised. You say I believe 1% of British 1% of the British rich have more money than 55% of all the Brits. Is that true?
That's right. And in this country, it's even worse. The people that inherited money from the Walmart fortune, there's only 6 of them. They've got as much money as 150 million Americans. Inequality is rife, not just racial inequality, that kind of thing. There's sort of little social valves around it, cultural social valves, like there's people from all sorts of different backgrounds, visible, doing well. But economically, inequality is rife. What's going on in Ferguson is like the thin end of the wedge. What happened in New Orleans around Katrina is where you see what mentality really exists in crisis. Now, the situation in Ferguson is an interesting one because the police forces all over America are being supplied with military arms. $4.2 billion of military weaponry is being provided to local police forces. What that tells me is people at a local level are preparing for confrontation. They're preparing to oppress people because the inequality is reaching such levels that people are getting on the street for it. Now, I'm a person who don't agree with violence. I think non-violent protest, because it's a successful means of getting what you want, is the way to go. But this is time to become active. This is the time for protest. Right? It's pretty evident. Yeah. Yes. I'm prepared to die for that.
You're prepared to die for that?
Well, I mean, you're going to die anyway, Sway. That's the thing that people seem to forget. Death is on the, like, there's no dying option. That you're going to die. So what do you want to die for? Nothing or something?
You want to die in your sleep? All right. Okay. All right. Go ahead, DB. You want to...
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Messiah complex because I think a lot of people don't realize they don't give you enough credit for being as smart as you are. But when you're watching Messiah, you talk about a lot of stuff that most people aren't even aware of, like about Gandhi and his wife with the medication thing that you brought up. And so I'm watching it and you almost seem like a professor giving like a great lecture. Did you ever think about doing stuff like at colleges or going around and giving lectures, even talking about the book or something like that?
I do think about that, but like what I've tried to do with this book, what I've written, Revolution, and what I tried to do with Messiah Complex is to make information like that, what's normally considered esoteric, that just means for a few people, hard to get information on a high shelf, accessible to ordinary people. Because like if you go to a normal school and you're from an ordinary background, people don't give you that kind of information. People I don't know what it's like in this country, but if you're a white person in England, when you first hear about Malcolm X, it's like they go, he was like a bad, rabble-rousing, trouble-making, dark individual. And then you actually read stuff and think, hold on a minute, this guy was amazing. Why no one telling you that story? Because that story is inspiring. That story brings people together. That story makes you realise that things can change, that things need to change, that it's necessary to change. So it's not like I want to go to universities and colleges where people already have a lot of access to information, although I would do that as well. It's like I want that information to be accessible to people in the same way that I suppose that Public Enemy and NWA initially made information accessible through music. I think that information should be accessible for all of us.
I love how you reference Public Enemy and NWA. Tyler.
Well, I know what I'm assuming from the people in the studio that this is the kind of reference points that will make me seem nice.
No, you could have said Dylan. All right, we got
Bob Dylan, the poetry of Shakespeare, Walt Whitman,
Bob Marley, Tyler from Boston. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Sway. Good morning, Tracy and Russell. How are you guys?
Doing okay.
Well,
man.
thank you.
What would you like to say to Russ?
First off, I love the topic right now. First off, I wanted to say if a man has nothing to die for, he is living for nothing. That's my opinion on that.
Okay.
And Russell, here's something for you. As a survivor myself of the heroin epidemic, there's a lot of talk of Ebola, different viruses on the news and media going around right now. But there's another epidemic that's very real to me, and almost took my life. I'm clean and sober today.
Well done.
Through a program of action and
Well
basically helping others in prayer and meditation. And I just wanted your thoughts on that and about, I've literally personally had at least 10 people that I know, 10 close friends this year die from heroin, opiate-related deaths. And I wanted to know your thoughts on that. And
Yeah, I'll give you a mate. My thoughts are I'm in recovery from crack and heroin addiction and alcoholism myself. It remains an integral part of my life, and like you, I stay clean by keeping company with other addicts, helping other addicts, getting help from other addicts, and my belief in a higher power. And the principles that have got me clean from my addiction to drugs, I think, can be useful in other areas. And I think you're referring to a degree to the fear mongering that's around the Ebola virus. Sounds like a terrifying thing, and but for me, that sounds like an epidemic that should be dealt with wherever it is in the world. It's as important in Africa as it is in America or indeed England. And if the money's available to bail people out of financial crisis, why is the money not available to bail people out of health crises? But the addiction disease is here. It's among all of us. Every one of us knows someone that's affected by this condition, and there's a solution available. And it's good that me and you, mate, have found that solution. And yeah, we have a duty to make that solution available to as many people as possible. And I think the principles that have got me clean could apply in getting other people clean, and also I think in elevating the consciousness of people in lots of areas. And it certainly inspired me in the book I wrote, the principles behind the way that I got clean through a program of action. And I think that we have a personal duty, mate, to help others and make ourselves available. And I'm sure, like you, I am available to help anyone with addiction issues.
Thank you for your call, Tyler.
It's interesting that Tyler mentioned Ebola, because Chris Brown, he recently made a big-time polarizing opinion about Ebola that he kind of got stoned for, where he said, I think this Ebola epidemic is a form of population control. So people immediately started pointing a finger at him, saying, okay, what's up with this conspiracy theories? What's your take on that?
He don't mind getting stuck in, does he, old Chris Brown? He's I've met him, and I've found him to be a pretty beautiful fellow, on a one-to-one basis, and we've all made mistakes. I'm in no position to start judging anybody. So, but with that Ebola thing, I suppose it's there's a lot of rumours that CIA introduced crack into communities as a form of control. I suppose there's a lot of speculation that there's a lot of black ops and undercover situations that go on the world over, with the CIA disrupting governments in Latin America, causing insurrections, disruption, funding terrorist organisations in the Middle East. So we're naturally going to be suspicious. I don't know. I sometimes wonder what these top secret files are full of. What are in these top secret files? I reckon it's probably stuff that if we knew it, we'd go, oh my God, we can't let these people be in charge of us. They'd do anything. I wouldn't rule nothing out with them people. I wouldn't rule nothing out. I think they'll do anything to keep us down.
Wow. So, yeah, he wouldn't rule it out.
Wouldn't rule it out.
Megan is in Nevada. Real quick, say hello to Russell Brand. Go ahead.
Hi, Russell. How are you?
I feel very well today. Thank you, mate.
Good. I was just calling because I was just wondering. We all have that annoying, person that everybody refers us with. And I was wondering if it took a while to get that whole pop culture fan base that used to follow Katy Perry, if it took a while for that people to kind of leave you and always asking about her. And if it took a while for that.
Oh, no, not really. I don't see it as annoying. I was very proud to be married to Katy. She's a lovely woman and a very successful person. And the people that follow her, I don't find them annoying. And I try not to be snooty about the way that I judge people, because otherwise I get carried away with myself, So I think there's all kinds of different sort of forms of music and different kinds of forms of entertainment, and everything means something to someone. And so, no, I'm okay with it. I believe they call themselves Katy Cats, and I send them nothing but affection and love.
There it is. Hey, Megan, thanks for your call. And then, Russell, man, pick up the book.
Yeah.
Revolution. This dude has always intrigued me and always been a kind, spirited person, and I always like having you here, man. Unfortunately,
Thanks,
we ran out of time.
No problem.
All right, but Russell
Well
Brand.
done. Thank you very much.
Man. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.